So I'm not gonna lie, I have a feeling after our stay here, after our time in Cerritos, that our time in Baja is probably coming to a close. When I drove down to Mexico 5 weeks ago, my plan was to stay for 2 or 3 months at a minimum. I wanted to take my time exploring the back roads of a new landscape, exploring further than I ever had before. But after just a few short weeks, something shifted. I felt unsettled and anxious. And so, with work piling up, decision fatigue setting in, and Tara struggling with a lack of food and the rapidly warming climate, I made the difficult decision to leave. And this is my journey home, driving over 1,200 miles alone across the deserts and coastlines of Baja, California. So this spot is not that far away from the highway, I will admit, but I think as long as I'm facing the ocean, it's a non-issue. I can't really hear it over the sounds of the crashing waves. This bay has been one of my favorite spots as I've gone south on the Baja Peninsula, so I'm super happy to be back in this area and enjoying the last of our time down here close to and in the water. And speaking of, I'm gonna make the most of this lasting daylight to throw on a swimsuit and go take a swim with Tara. And while I do, I wanna take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Nani Swimwear. Having spent the last few weeks practically living in the water, whether it be snorkeling, swimming, or surfing, I've really come to appreciate good swimwear that is not only functional, but that also makes me feel good. Nani Swimwear is a woman-founded company that focuses on empowering women in their outdoor pursuits through functional and sustainable pieces, with many of their suits containing up to or over 12 recycled plastic water bottles. New for 2024, their Daybreak collection features a variety of eye-catching patterns and coverage options, allowing you to move with confidence and ease, no matter where you go. Personally, I've really come to appreciate their adjustable straps and high-cut legs for freedom of movement when I'm in the water. So whether you're looking for a functional and flattering suit for your upcoming tropical vacation or a new swimsuit to bring with you on upcoming summer adventures, you can head to the link down in my description down below or use the code Alexandria15 at checkout to get 15% off your purchase through the end of March. And thank you again to Nani for sponsoring today's video. So one of the stops that I decided to make a quick detour for on the way back up was pretty much a non-negotiable. Now I'm just really hoping that the 2 shops that I want to go to are actually open right now because it's about lunchtime, which a lot of places down here will close around that time. make sense. But there's a really incredible tortilleria down here that my friends recommended that I literally purchased and ate, I think 20 tortillas in under a week from, which is insane. And a really amazing pan de datil, which is like a date cake or a date bread that I also wanted to grab. So I'm just crossing my fingers that they're open. Regardless, it's a beautiful day. The palm trees are out and shining and lovely, and gosh, this part of Baja is just so special and so cool. Crossing our fingers, driving into town, and we should be able to tell pretty much from this street whether or not they're open. Oh my goodness, this has to be the most lucky I think we've been since being in Baja. To have both stores open right around noon. Oh my goodness. I don't even know how to describe the buttery, soft, just delicious nature of these tortillas. Now that we're done here, we're gonna go to Tacos Muele. Hour and 45 minutes. There are 2 military checkpoints as far as I remember that we are going to have to pass through. And I feel like the military checkpoints are what most people, especially solo, are the most concerned about. And so I'm gonna try my best to have the camera on just so you guys can see like exactly what happens. Obviously I don't know how it's gonna go today, because today is the first time I'm doing it today. And it goes a little bit differently every time, but for the most part I'd say the like worst that I've had happen so far, I personally, knock on wood, have never actually had them search my vehicle. Usually they just want to peek in, but usually they'll just like ask me out for drinks. They'll ask if I have a boyfriend back home, and what I found is it's just easiest to say yes, he's back in the States. I don't have a boyfriend, but they don't know that, and from what I've heard, it generally just like helps it go a little bit smoother instead of having to try to explain why you're here by yourself. So anyways, we have about 10 minutes I think until we get to that checkpoint, so I'm gonna enjoy this absolutely delicious tortilla. We're gonna get through the military checkpoint and head over to our absolutely favorite taco stop in all of Baja, which apparently I'm not alone in thinking that. Hola. Hola, ¿cómo está usted?
Bien.
Bien, bien,
¿Usted?
gracias. Bien.
Do you speak Spanish?
Un poquito.
Un poquito.
Sí.
¿Me permites mirar tu pasaporte?
Ah, sí.
¿El original dónde lo tienes?
¿Lo siento?
¿El original?
Ah, sí, está en mi...
Ok. ¿Cuánto tiempo tienes en México?
¿Cuánto tiempo? ¿Una mes?
Un mes.
Sí, 5 semanas.
¿Cuándo entraste? Bueno. You have 5 months
Oh, sí.
here in Mexico.
Oh, no. 5 semanas.
Semanas.
Sí, una mes plus una semana.
1 week.
Sí.
And you have a stamp at the border?
FMN.
Yeah. Good.
Ok, muchas gracias, señor.
My trip.
Gracias.
Bye.
Buen día.
Bye.
Adiós. Gracias. Okay, so that was definitely the longest that I've been stopped. Hopefully you guys were able to hear and catch all of that. But essentially they just asked for my passport, which I carry a copy up here with me, but my original copy of my passport is up in the camper. I do that just because if someone's gonna just like quickly smash and grab stuff, I figure that they're gonna break in here first because windows are easier to break in the camper as opposed to breaking into the whole, or sorry, they're easier to break in the truck as opposed to the entire camper. So, original passport's up there. I provided a copy. He asked if I had the original. I said yes, but it's up there to be like, I can go get it, but I don't have it with me. And then he asked how long I've been here, and I'm pretty sure that I said una mes, and then I said like 5 semanas, 5 weeks, so just over a month, because I don't know how to say a month, a little over a month, so I said 5 semanas. But I think that what he heard me say was una mes, 5 meses, which is not true. So anyways, he asked to see my FMM, which is that thing that you have to get stamped when you cross the border. I had that in my folder up here, so I provided that, and I had the receipt. And again, just smile, smile and wave. Alright, so while Tara wanders outside, her happy little self, where I can see her thankfully for the first time, and there's no pufferfish because we're on the Pacific side, I'm going to go ahead and cut myself a slice of my date bread. I think it's more of like a banana bread than a cake. And tell you guys a little bit more about why I'm leaving Baja, because I feel like I've hinted, I have indicated that there are things that went wrong, but I haven't really talked about it in depth. Wow, this looks so good. So good. Let's try a bite before we get into it. There are a few main reasons why I'm leaving. One, it doesn't feel like this year is the right year for me to be spending months at a time down here. In terms of work, I have been running at full hilt. I know it probably doesn't seem like it because all I do is YouTube, but between this, some budding things that are in the works over the next couple of months, trying to work with partners and it being very difficult to get contracts done on time, to get packages down here that were supposed to be delivered before I left but didn't come until I got here. I've been working upwards of 50 or 60 hours a week. Normally that wouldn't be that big of an issue. I have to work no matter where I am. But it's the combination of having to work that much and trying to also enjoy a new area for the first time. When I'm back in the States, there's a lot of places I go again and again each year. So maybe I see 1 or 2 new things, but it's really just going back to familiar places. I know where to get water. I know where to do my grocery shopping. I have friends around if I want them, but if I don't, it's not the end of the world because I can see them next week. Down here, that is all thrown out the window. On top of that, I have Tara with me and it has been absolutely incredible. I have loved experiencing Baja through a dog's eyes. She has been living it up and having the time of her life. But she has a chicken allergy and I knew that that could be a potential issue coming down. I supplement her food in so many ways, even back at home, to try to make sure that she's getting adequate nutrition. But when she ran out of her dog food yesterday, that was really a big red flag because for the past 2 weeks, I've been looking every single time we come across a vet or a specialty dog food store to see if I can find her food without chicken in it. It's never been so severe that she would, break out in hives or lose a bunch of weight, but it's to the point where, she should not be eating chicken. And that seems to actually have changed as well and worsened because I eventually caved and bought her a salmon-based food that had some sort of chicken flavor or additive that looked like it might be like an artificial flavoring. Ingredient number 20. Unfortunately, she immediately started getting sick, and I'm now realizing that her chicken allergy is to the point where there can be no chicken in any of her food. So that's a stress also, because she needs to be eating properly, eating well, and eating a balanced diet, and she didn't ask, you know, to be eating yogurt and bell peppers and liver as kind of a stand-in temporarily until we can get her new food. All of that being said though, I am so freaking grateful that I took the chance in coming down here. I came down with people who were a little more than strangers to me and made some really exceptional new friends. Right at the tail end of this trip, I met a whole new, it felt like kind of clan of van or road life people, which is kind of crazy to think of because sometimes it feels like the community is so small. But this trip was a great reminder that there is still so much to be explored. There are still so many wonderful people that I've never met or that I might never get the chance to meet. And it's all adding fuel to the fire of continuing my adventures on the road. And so while I am quitting van life Baja, truck life Baja, I'm certainly not getting off the road. I'm just trying to recalibrate and figure out what feels good, both in terms of work, Tara, I guess all in terms of work, Tara, and my own mental health, because starting to regret or feel like I should be somewhere else long term is not good for my mental health. So yeah, I hope that gives you a little bit more insight as to why we're leaving. It's nothing terrible or bad, it's just a redirection, and I'm really excited to hopefully come back in years to come. I'm even more excited right now to get back to the mountains and to weather that feels a little bit more winterish. I think my body is really going to feel good in that, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have come down here and to have experienced something new and the potential to come back again in the future.
To move away from home because we must go out on our own, but to know deep down, if it all goes to shit,
Okay, so if I'm being honest, this is the part that has worried me the most about today. I'm so sorry the sun is right in my eyes, but it's staying out of the Sentry lane. So I am currently all the way on the right hand side at Mexicali East. I see a sign that says Camiones Autos, and then Linea Sentry, and one is pointing to the right, the other one goes straight. So I'm gonna hang a right and follow Autos because I'm obviously not Sentry. But I'm just really hoping that I can get through because the Autos line is closed. Crap. I don't understand why they make this so difficult. Like there's no way to get in the other line. Apparently it's like $1,000 fine if you're in the Sentry lane. But there's only one line. There's only one line going to the border, so we're just gonna do it and cross our fingers that I'm in the right spot. My friends gave me GPS coordinates, so this should be the right location. I don't know where else I could go, because yeah, that gate is completely closed. But we'll see. We'll see if I get a huge fine or if I'm in the right place, I guess. Okay, I think we actually did it. I'm still in line, but Sentry is blazing past us on the left, so I think I'm in the right lane. And I think we're gonna cross soon.
Well, we are officially back. Look at how sweet Tara is being right now.
I just took her out for a little walk and did a very, very quick grocery shop to get her some food for tonight. Still not dog food, but at least food that I can cook for her. And we're just gonna chill in none other than a Walmart parking lot. I can't quite think of anything more American to do than that. And also realistically, it's just convenient. I had thought originally about making the border crossing a whole video in and of itself, but it really was nothing to write home about. That said, I do think there are things that really helped in all my military and border crossings that I'd love to share. So probably later on this week on Instagram and or the community tab, I'll go ahead and drop an option for you guys to leave questions. And in the next week or so, I'll probably do a Baja, Mexico in the winter in a van or in a rig Q&A for everyone who's interested. On that note though, I am gonna call it a night, spend some time with my girl after a really long trip back home, and I'll see you guys all next Sunday.